My dad is part of the problem, and I'm starting to hate him for it. He's a general manager of a factory. The work is hard. The hours are long. And the pay fucking sucks. It has benefits. But just barely. They've tried to unionize multiple times, but somehow my dad always manages to shut that down. My husband is on paternity leave right now. And my dad is constantly making fun of him for it. Saying, he should be a man and go back to work, instead of staying home and spending time with his babies. Time that he will never get back. Then he had the audacity to gloat about firing one of his guys that just came back from paternity leave. He literally said, I found any and every reason to write him up and get him gone. Companies don't want someone taking off time for their family. Especially men. I'm floored. This man is my dad. Like, I love him and everything, but fuck. I don't think I can do it anymore. I kind of want to go no contact. I can't associate with people who think like this. What the actual fuck? Edit. Thanks for all your messages. FYI. 1. Currently in process of finding the employee my dad fired for going on pat leave. 2. If you don't have the balls to post your hate publicly, don't bother private messaging me with it. You're embarrassing yourself. 3. I didn't post this for internet points. I don't even know what those are. If I can use these points to buy a new dad, then send me all the points please. I just wanted to thank everyone who has contributed to this subreddit. As you have changed me. I now know better because of all of you. I was brainwashed. I'll be the first to admit it. Thanks for reading and contributing, everyone. Point out to him that when he says loyalty to the job is more important than family, that he is talking about you. And if he thinks so little of you and your family, he can call his boss next time he wants to have a holiday, birthday, special dinner or get together. Can you reach out to the employee to let him know he was wrongfully fired and discriminated against? Ask him why he thinks so? I'm so sorry you've got to deal with that. I don't know that I'd be able to handle that kind of shit. I grew up with the exact opposite for a dad. He was a union president and I remember loving to listen to him tell stories about him raining hell down on managers just like your dad. My dad is a womanizer and is currently going through his third divorce at 70. He views women as pieces of meat who are there for his pleasure. You wouldn't know this meeting him at first, but it starts to come out eventually. He is also very racist against most anybody who is not white. My wife has a medical degree and is very successful. We have 2 young girls. He doesn't see them much because I don't want them around him. You unfortunately don't get to pick who your family is, but you certainly do get to pick who you choose to hang around. Family or not, you choose the people you want to be with and have influencing your relationships and your children. One of the hardest to learn lessons that I had to learn on my own is that it does not matter if you are related to someone. If that person is being a jackass and a dipshit, then they're being a jackass and a dipshit. The fact that they happen to share genetic info with you does not excuse or justify their behavior and actions. This dude's a fucking asshole and you don't deserve to put up with it. I don't blame you for potentially needing to cut him out of your life. It sounds like he has some real issues with control. Not to mention a toxic sense of paternalism both in and out of work. That kind of behavior isn't healthy anywhere. I think your children are very lucky. They will have a strong bond with both of their parents. I am happy that you and your husband do this. I am sorry about your dad. And I honestly think you should cut him off. The worst part of all this is that company doesn't give a shit about him. His family. Quality of life. Nothing. He is just another brainwashed cog in the wheel of the operation, doing the dirty work for the company, thinking that he is better than those underneath him. He has and is wasting his life being toxic, ruining his own relationships with his family and other families as well. It's very unfortunate and I'm sorry you are going through this. I will tell you, the best thing you can do for you and your family is to just cut negative people out of your lives. It sucks and it hurts sometimes, but you will be better off for it. I am speaking from my own heartbreaking experience. I only talk to one family member now for the past 7 years after my family decided they were going to try and ruin my wedding day. Well, they kinda did, but I have never been happier. I love my dad, but he is exactly the same. He is trying to push these lives we shouldn't live cause he lived them. I have given up on him and just trying to teach my sisters to not listen to him. I can only hope my sisters don't fall for his BS like I did. So he fired a dad for wanting to spend time with his child? Is that why your dad's relationship with you is also that close? Don't worry, I hate your dad too. Maybe he should have married his job instead of having a family. I'm really sorry. But I would go low, no contact. 2. He has no right to belittle your husband for caring for his child. And you don't want to have someone like him around your children as soon as they are old enough to understand what's going on, imprinting his medieval thinking on them. If men can't take time off for their families, I guess he's not very far from women belong in the kitchen, etc. You know what hurts boomers? Denying them their grandchildren. Every slight. Deprive. Use it as a cudgel until he unfucks himself, or he can spend retirement listening to his records about doo-wop and never knowing his grandchildren. Regardless of your feelings about him, make sure to keep the asshole as far away from your children as possible. I had a granddad situation similar to this. I'm 27 and I still hate that shithead even though I haven't seen him for 5 years. He is a tiny man with no compassion and he just loves the feeling of power he gets when doing this. And he will do a 180 and be incredibly pissed off when his company inevitably screws him over as well. Sunk cost fallacy. He wasted his entire life for corporate America, so he tells himself lies to feel better about other people actually enjoying their time left on this planet. People can change. My dad went from a staunch conservative to being a Bernie bro towards the end of his life. It can happen. I remember when I was a teenager him telling my mom that she couldn't vote for candidate she wanted to because it would cancel his vote. And I told her to please cancel his right-wing vote. Please. That's when things started to shift in my household and my mom started to become more of a political voice. And my dad began to also become more of a leftist. Sometimes it takes a while. But these old guys are capable of change. Believe it not. He sounds toxic. I would not be able to put up with his views, even if he was my father. Toxic family does not get to be in my life. Your husband probably really dislikes him as well. And do you want his views around your kids? I sure wouldn't. People like that won't even have a clue when you fade out of their life. But you'll be glad you did. Even if they are family. He sounds like a bad influence. Remind him that if he continues to behave like that he will not be permitted to spend time with his grandkids. And tell husband if he ever gets spoken to like that again to throw him out of the house. Doesn't have to stand that kinda abuse under his own roof. If the man values work more than family, then I hope he enjoys work, because he will no longer have a family.
If you enjoyed this video, Please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.